All right, let's dive into a song that takes this ancient idea of the devil and just flips it completely on its head. This isn't about some cartoon villain or evil force. Nope. This is all about the conflict, that deep struggle happening inside every single one of us.
So, let's just get right to the heart of it. I want you to think about this. What if that voice we've all been taught to call the devil, the one that whispers those rebellious thoughts, those temptations, what if that was actually your truest self, the most honest, the most courageous part of you just trying to get a word in? The whole song kicks off with this really powerful confession. The narrator basically says, I'm too scared to say what I really think. So what do? They outsource the job. They create this spokesperson for their inner truth. And the name they give this spokesperson? The devil. And this line right here makes it crystal clear we are not talking about religion. This isn't some evil force from the outside. No, this devil is internal. It's a symbol, really, for all those desires we push down, those raw instincts, and those hard truths we're just too afraid to say out loud. It's the voice of the free person that's trapped deep inside our own minds.
So you gotta ask, why do we even need an internal devil? Well, the song's argument is that modern life has basically trained us to shut up the most primal part of who we are. You could almost think of it like Freud's id, that raw, instinctual voice of pure desire, the one our conscious mind is taught, practically from birth, to control, to manage, and to suppress. Okay, so let's just nail this down so we're all on the same page. When this song says devil, it's not talking about sin or temptation in the traditional sense. It's talking about the voice of our deepest instincts, our subconscious truth. It's that courage we've buried so deep that we don't even recognize it as ours anymore. And this just lays out the switch perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the classic devil, some external evil force you're supposed to fear and fight. But the devil in this song, it's the total opposite. It's an internal truth. It's the voice of your real, authentic desires. And the song is basically screaming that this is a voice you need to start listening to. So what are we so afraid of anyway? What are these fears that are so huge they make us hire a devil to speak for us? Well, the lyrics dig into some really basic human anxieties, right? The fear of being kicked out of the group. The fear of people thinking you're weird or just wrong. The fear of breaking those unspoken social rules. And maybe the biggest one of all, the fear of letting people see the real you and being totally vulnerable. Okay, and this is where we get to the real conflict. If the devil is our instinct that's being held down, then who or what is doing the holding? The song points the finger directly at our own consciousness. It calls it an internal master, the one whose job it is to enforce all of society's rules inside our own heads. This line is something else. It's suggesting that the thoughts we think we have, the actual sentences we form in our minds, aren't even ours. They're just borrowed. Borrowed from the master, from culture, from school, from all the rules that have shaped us. Our own consciousness becomes this internal warden whose only job is to keep our natural impulses locked up. And here it is, the whole battlefield laid out right in front of us. On one side, you have the master. That's consciousness, culture, rules. Think of it as the trained, conditioned part of yourself. And on the other side, the rebel, the devil, the one who speaks for the body, for pure instinct, for real desire. The entire song is basically a play-by-play of this internal civil war. And then we hit the chorus, and that quiet, suppressed voice, it's not whispering anymore. It roars. The whole vibe just shifts from this quiet confession to a full-on manifesto. This is the turning point. This is where the body, using the devil's voice, starts taking back its power. I mean, how simple is that, but also how profound? Your body is mighty, don't forget. It's a direct command to remember our physical truth, that wisdom that's built right into our bodies. The wisdom that diet plans and social rules and crazy schedules have all taught us to just ignore. And then comes this. The song takes desire, one of the most villainized ideas in all of history, and flips it. It's not a sin. It's not a distraction. It's nothing to be ashamed of. In this new rulebook, your desire is your compass. It's the most real, authentic guide you've got for finding your way through life. This line is where the critique gets bigger. It's not just about what's going on inside our heads anymore. It's about our place in the whole modern system.
It's a straight-up accusation, saying our time, our energy, our very lives have been hijacked by routines and expectations that are all serving somebody else. So that call to take it back, that's a call to reclaim your own life.
So, what does this manifesto actually look like in real life? Well, it means trusting that you're hungry instead of just looking at a diet sheet. It means following the path that your gut, your desire, is pointing you toward, not the one society has paved for you. It's about taking ownership of your own time. And really, it all boils down to one simple but totally radical idea. Listen to your body, not just to the master in your head. Okay, so once that foundation is set, the rebellion gets bigger. That internal fight we talked about, mind versus body, it suddenly becomes a mirror for a much larger fight. The individual versus the system. This is where things get political. I absolutely love this metaphor. So, the gods, right? They're the powers that be. Governments, big companies, you name it. They're the ones drawing the maps for our lives and setting all the rules. But the demon, that's us. That's our individual spark of freedom and creativity. And you can't box that in. It always finds the cracks in the system, the little gaps where it can be free. And this right here just brings all that big philosophical talk crashing right down to earth, to a harsh physical reality. The system, the master, offers you what's on the menu. What's cheap? Pasta. But your body, your actual instinct, is screaming for salt, for protein. It's such a perfect, brutal example of how the economic system can just completely ignore our most basic biological needs. So as we get to the end here, the song reframes this devil figure one last time. And this is key. He's not an enemy you have to defeat. He's not a flaw you need to fix. Instead, he's revealed to be a totally essential part of who we are. A guide, really, that can lead us back to our own truth. And here it is, the final, ultimate act of defiance. This is a rejection of all authority, from ancient god kings to the modern systems that try to control us. This is the sound of someone waking up for real. It's that moment you finally decide to trust yourself more than any power on the outside. And the song winds down with this gorgeous, rhythmic ending. And the message is, this powerful voice, this truth, you're not going to find it in some big, dramatic moment. You find it in the details, in all the small things we usually overlook. You find it in the silence, in those little gaps between all the noise of our conditioned minds. That's when you can finally hear that whisper of your own instinct. And that brings us to the final, critical piece of the puzzle. The devil, he isn't out there somewhere. He's not someone else. He's been with you this whole time, an inseparable part of you, hidden in your shadow, just waiting for you to turn around and say hello. So, we've come full circle, but everything looks different now, right? If this internal devil isn't evil, if it's just the voice of your truth, your instinct, your courage, then what have you been forcing it to keep quiet about? What are you finally going to let it say?